Our next speaker is going to be another one of our fantastic communication studies students here at Kutztown, Rachel Glembocki. And I forgot to get her title up here ahead of time, but her title is Family Ties. So,
is this thing on? All right. So on the first day of this semester, my public relations class began with a series of the dreaded icebreakers. And one of the questions that my group got was something along the lines of, if you could change your name, what would it be and why? And I actually struggled to come up with an answer for this for more than one reason. Number one, I feel like your face has to match your name. But number two, this is actually something I've thought about across my life, because if one decision was changed before I was born, I wouldn't be Rachel at all. I'm 21 years old, so I have a general idea of what to expect when I tell people that I'm adopted. It's usually met with some amount of surprise and a wide range of questions, but sometimes I get a response that I don't know how to react to. Some people have said that they feel bad for me and my brothers who are also adopted. Some have asked us if we ever get to see our real families. And some, especially when we were kids, have thought of it as a weak point to pick on because we're different. And I think that people tend to assume that adoptees think about this part of our identity constantly. Like there's some sort of, ongoing inner turmoil over a choice that wasn't ours. Like there's some other version of us out there that we'll never get to meet, so a piece of us is missing. And people on social media like to say that adoption always carries trauma, but that's not true. Because my brothers, who are actually here tonight, and I were lucky enough to not have to go through foster care. We went through this fantastic agency called Adoptions from the Heart, and they connected us with our parents before we were even born. And the process that I went through is commonly called an open adoption, which basically means that to some degree my biological mom is still involved in my life. We're friends on social media, and whenever time allows it, we get together and we talk. And it's been long enough, it's been 21 years, that there is no animosity between her and my parents. That's me as a baby. I don't know how many days old I was, but I still have that stuffed animal. And my next slide, that's a picture of me in 8th grade with my mom here and my biological mom there. And now I think that people, how am I going to say this? Some people are not as lucky as I am to have that contact, because my brothers went through what is called a closed adoption, which means that they have no information about their background and no contact. But regardless of how we got here, we've always known that a plan was made for us to be put together. And overall, we're very happy with how our lives have turned out. We wouldn't change a thing. Our history has never been a secret, so we don't see it as something to be ashamed of. But because my mind tends to wander, I've had to come up with a way to stop myself from having an identity crisis. So I've started looking at myself as nature and nurture instead of nature versus nurture, because you can't have one without the other. So who I am on the outside is my nature, it's my genetics. Who I am on the inside is nurturing, what I've learned throughout my life and the experiences that I've had. And I have started to look more like my biological mom the older I get. And sure, I have her crooked smile, and yes, her son looks a lot like me, but then I tell people that I'm adopted, and they say, really? You look just like your mom. Or wow, your brothers look exactly like you. So I've got my genetics, sure, but I have also learned my mom's fire and my dad's determination. So it's not nature versus nurture, but nature and nurture. It's working together. So there's me and my brothers as babies learning how to live together. And people like to say, when do you get to see your real family? Do you know your real family? Yes, I do, and I get to see them every day. We have our problems, because all siblings do. We want to pull each other's hair out sometimes, of course, over little things, but we need each other, and if that's not family, I don't know what is. The point of this talk is not to say that you shouldn't ask adopted people anything. Ask me literally whatever it is you want to know, however you want to say it, and I'll be happy to answer. Just remember that it's not really a one-size-fits-all process, and the stereotypes don't always apply, so be mindful in your curiosity. And there's one other question that I get that really makes me think, and I get this fairly often. Do you ever miss them in regards to my biological family? And I'm going to say this in the nicest way possible. I don't, because I don't know what I'm missing. But I do know what I would be missing if I was anywhere else. I tend to put a lot of value in my experiences, And I don't want my life to be any different, because I wouldn't be able to have the love of my friends cheering me on in everything I do, and I wouldn't be able to dance around the kitchen with my mom and yell at the TV with my dad during football, and I wouldn't be able to look into my nephew's eyes and see my brothers born again in his face if that choice was not made for me. So no, I don't miss them. So one more time, I just want to return to that icebreaker on the first day of school. If you could change your name, what would it be and why? I have my answer now. I wouldn't change it. That's all I've got. Thank you.